Well, good morning to Winners Win Live. I'm Chris Coakley, president of Surge 365. And let's call this the retake. You know, most of you may have realized that the Winners Win that I did on Saturday's morning, although the video came through great, the audio was absolutely a mess. It was all over the place, and due to some technical difficulties, I think, with my phone and recording device. So I committed to do it again, and we'll put it up so that everybody can see it. So here it is, and here you go. Let me start again with just some housekeeping things that I want to bring up. One is that coming up on the 22nd, we have a boot camp in North Carolina, Chapel Hill area that's going to be absolutely phenomenal. And if you're within driving distance of that, and some people will even fly in as they always do, you want to make sure you're there so you can get the fundamentals of, you know, what's happening now in this third and final phase of the pre-launch as we're getting ready for the next big event, which is Baltimore, 5-year anniversary and launch of the new next generation of Surge 365. And so you want to definitely make sure that you're in Baltimore. Baltimore is not the type of event that you want to wait till people come back and hear what they have to say about what happened. It's the kind of event that you want to be there. It's the type of event that you want to be a part of everything that's going on, from the recognition and celebration to the training that's going to be there, and some of the bombshell announcements of new things that we're adding to this final phase of the launch of Surge, the next generation. And so if you haven't registered for Baltimore yet, you should make sure you do that and make plans to be there in Baltimore. You don't want to miss this opportunity. You really, listen to me guys, you really don't want to miss it. People who are in Baltimore are going to have such an incredible understanding of what they have and how to accelerate the growth of it like no one else. And so that's something you want to make sure you can add to your repertoire. You want to be able to add the fact that you were there and that you clearly know what you have and how to take it to the next level, you know, as we go forward. I'm going to talk about today, you know, building a business and specifically building our business, because I think there's been some misconceptions that are slowing a lot of people down in their success in this business and in this opportunity, and what makes us uniquely different than other opportunities out there. And one of the biggest dangers, probably not only to business, but it's probably been to all relationships, has been technology. You know, when you look at social media and cell phones and texting and all of these different things that have moved us further away from building close relationships, is one of the dangers of being successful even in your business today. See, one of the things that we had that we didn't even know we had was the fact that there was no technology to build a relationship business. You had no choice but to be kneecap to kneecap, belly button to belly button, you know, with each and every person that you were trying to, you know, recruit into your business and make your business partner, and that you were trying to mentor and help learn how to become successful. You had to talk to them. You had to call them. You had to meet with them. You had to do weekly meetings. You had to do anything that you could to spend time with people to help them become successful. And now time is one of those things that's fleeting, you know, and, you know, people can be all at a kitchen table, but they're all on their cell phones. And so although they're in the room, they're not present anymore. And you can be online and be distracted by all kinds of other things as opposed to focused on building your business. And so you have to learn how to make technology, which is something we always knew would come. But as companies become more high-tech, you have to become more high-touch. So now, when you look at social media and you go, but everybody says you should build your business on social media. But what they're not saying is what type of business is successfully built on social media. And there's some types of businesses that aren't. And so you have to ask yourself, which type am I building? For instance, if you're selling products which really have nothing to do with relationships, then social media is a vehicle that you could put your product on social media and meet and reach more clients faster than probably any other way. And if your product is especially unique and something that can only be gotten from you, you have the potential to become very financially independent, or I dare say even wealthy, selling your product through technology and social media. Because think about it, guys, when you're buying products, you don't feel the need to connect with, the checkout person, the cashier. No, you just want the product that you want. And how you get it or who you buy it from is pretty irrelevant. And so products are one of those things that can naturally move to online and to technology, and had been going that direction for some time, as some of the big stores have become huge online stores. And Amazon Prime is probably one of the biggest now, where everything you're buying online, and there is no personal relationship. You don't know Mr. Amazon or Mrs. Amazon. You just go in, you get the best price, you order your product, and in some cases, if you're Prime, they deliver it the same day or the next day at the most. That type of business, and if you're in a business that sells products, you can find a space online that would help you to sell your products. But when you think about what we do, I want you to think now with me for a minute about what we do. We're teaching people how to become successful with a service, not a product. So, one, it's not a product that you just buy and walk away with in your hand. Two, this is about the business opportunity and the journey to become successful more than it is anything else. And success is a journey. Success, as my mentor used to say, is a language. Have you ever imagined, and some of you may have even been in this scenario, I know I have, where you're in another country where nobody speaks the language that you speak. I was in Italy, and Italy is one of my favorite places to go. I really enjoy it, just the history and the beauty and everything. But I was in Italy in a restaurant, and I ordered pizza, and I have the American mentality of what a pizza should be, and a lot of sauce and toppings. But in Italy, really, a pizza is just kind of some bread and some slices of tomato and slices of mozzarella, and then you kind of brick oven that, and you've got the traditional margarita pizza. And I'm looking at it going, where's the sauce? And so I decided I'm going to ask for some sauce. And that's when I immediately found out that I was in an authentic Italian restaurant that no one spoke English. I mean, no one. And so here I am trying to ask for sauce, and they have no idea what I'm trying to ask for. And I'm doing hand gestures, and I'm kind of, doing sprinkling sauce, and I'm making an air pizza for them to kind of see what I'm talking about, and nobody could get it. And few people that were also customers tried to chime in and figure out. It was almost like I was in the middle of a game of Pictionary in an Italian restaurant trying to get sauce. And in the final analysis, someone finally just gave me a couple of packets of ketchup, because that was the most they could gather I was talking about. And they gave me ketchup. Now, obviously, I didn't put it on my pizza. I ended up eating it as it was. But I just remember the experience. And it made me remember my mentor who said, success is a language. And until people learn the language, that's kind of how they feel, is the way you felt in that Italian restaurant. And so, guys, our job is to take a person who obviously knows nothing about being financially independent, because if they did, they'd already be financially independent. That's not the kind of thing you would know and just not do. That's not a secret you'd keep from yourself. So obviously they're here to take a chance and learn, allow themselves to be mentored to become successful. And now we've got to take this person who only speaks regular English and teach them how to speak success. And that's a journey, that's a process. And it's a process that you're going to have to do face to face, kneecap to kneecap, belly button to belly button. Because you've got to build a relationship. You've got to build trust. You've got to strip away some old adages in their mind that are the reason most people aren't successful. You got to strip away some of the things that we're taught that is the reason we don't go after our dreams and goals. It's a process. It's kind of like the military. You know, to create a soldier that'll follow orders and react on command and put their lives in danger to protect others and protect this country, to turn a regular man or woman into that is a process. And it's not a process that you could do by just saying, here, take these videos home, watch them, and when you're done watching these videos, you'll be a soldier. You'll be a Marine. You'll be Army. No. See, they got to bring them in to a boot camp. And they got to break them down of all the old things that stop them from being an absolute machine. And then they got to build them back up. And they got to build trust between them and their commanding officers. They build trust between them and each other. They become a unit. They take on this mentality, no man left behind. They become a family. They spend a ton of time working together on different things, but they also spend a ton of time just getting to know each other and sharing the pictures that are sent to them by their families of their spouses and their children. And they build a bond in a relationship. And they learn the language of becoming a successful soldier through that process. And then even when they graduate from boot camp, they are totally transformed from what they were the day that they walked in. And then they walk this journey for the rest of their life of continuing to get better at being what they've decided to be. See, that's a process that in all these years, with all the technology, we've got technology now that you don't even have to put pilots in. You can send drones to war that shoot missiles that don't even have a person in it. The person is operating by remote control like a video game. And despite all of that technology, if you join the Army right now, you're going to boot camp. Through that process that people before you went through years and years and years ago, because you cannot transform a person into a soldier through technology. It'll always be done through relationships. It'll always be done face to face. See, that's where we are as a business, guys. Even though technology is great and can help in some ways, you cannot take a person that's average and ordinary with above average and ordinary desire to be somebody so bad they can't stand it. A person that's got the eye of a tiger and the heart of a lion, want to win, but just don't know how. You can't send that person home with some books and videos and help them become what they need to become to win. See, you got to work with them. You got to spend time with them. You got to eat with them. You got to go to sleep with them. You got to wake up with them. You got to, and you know what I mean? It's conventions and trips and workshops. I remember, in the first business I was in, you had to get an insurance license. I would bring people over to my house and tutor them so they could pass the exam to get a license, So we would spend hours together tutoring, and in between the tutoring, we order some pizza and have something to eat, and we dream, and we talk about what we were going to do when we became successful, and what we were going to buy, and how we were going to take care of our moms, and all of that time we built a bond, and we built trust, and we built all of the things necessary that when I told them what they needed to do to win, they did it. They didn't second guess me. They didn't question me. They knew I cared about them. They knew I cared about their family. They knew I wouldn't tell them something that was wrong. And all of that played into how fast people became successful. The problem we have today, I'm starting to notice more and more, is that too many of you are trying to figure out how to build your business online. Too many of you are trying to recruit people online. Too many of you are trying to train your teams totally through Zoom or webinars, and these are all tools that you can use in different aspects to help you build a business. But none of them have the ability of replacing what you need to do to build a successful team. And I think the myth also is, well, technology makes it faster. And the truth is, it doesn't. See, doing it the right way makes it faster. See, when you look at the recipe to bake a cake and it says that you put it in there at 400 degrees for 20 minutes, you do know that putting it in there at 600 degrees for 8 minutes is not going to get a successful cake. You're going to burn the outside and it's going to still be liquid in the middle. See, although there are ways, you know that just sticking it in the microwave isn't going to come out a perfect cake either. See, there are certain things that it needs to be 400 for 20 minutes. That's going to be the best way. And if you do it that way, you will successfully create a couple of layers for you to build a beautiful cake. But if you do it those other ways, you're going to keep experimenting, trying to get it right before you can ever figure out, if you can ever figure out, how to create the same flavorful, moist cake that 400 degrees for 20 minutes can create. And so what ends up happening is you end up taking longer to make your cake because you keep increasing the heat and lowering the time trying to find a faster way, or you start using technology like microwave ovens, and each microwave has a different heating structure. It tells you that every microwave is different, and so you got to try to figure out, based on the microwave you've got, how long do you put a cake in the microwave. And now you're using a pan that's not the same metal pan that we typically use, that we butter to make sure it doesn't stick. Now you got to use something that's microwavable, so you're using plastic, which has a different way of conducting heat. And so now you end up cooking 15 layers trying to figure out how to get it right, and I'm cooking 1 or 2 layers every 20 minutes. See, a couple of hours from now, I've got 3 or 4 beautifully cooked layers, and you've got a mess of an experiment going. But you thought you had technology that should make it faster. See, sometimes doing it right is faster. And that's what we've got to do. And so let me say this to you guys, because I get messages sometime, and I got one this morning, well intended, and the person said, Chris, I've tried the scripts that you've given me, and they're just not really working. And ultimately what I found out was they took the scripts that I gave them and they're using them online. And I don't have scripts for online. I did not build my business online. I don't know anyone who successfully built a business helping people become successful with a service, not a product, that did it online. I don't know anyone. No one here, no matter what they say, have successfully built a business online. Have they recruited people? Sure. Anything will work temporarily. But have they been able to develop those people and take them to the next heights online? I have yet in this business to see it done. So it scares me that so many of you are going to work hard, get discouraged, and probably quit because you're trying a technique that has never been proven and doesn't exist. And I know Scott covered this the last Winner's Win that he did, and I know that we both covered it before in our trainings, and some of you came down to my home in Top Gun. I covered it there, and it seems like you guys just don't want to believe us. Something in you says you can do this easier or faster online. And I hate to be the bearer of the bad news, but guys, you're going to waste a lot of time and energy, and you're still not going to come out with the results that you want. See, if you want to successfully build this business fast, you got to build it the right way. And the right way is fast. See, some people, well, that's going to take too long. Really? Well, let's look at the numbers. Let's look at the multiples. Because if you help 3 people come in as business partners, and then you did a travel party for all 3 of them, and you invited at least 20 or 30 of their friends, and 10 showed up. Let's just say 10 showed up. So all 3 of them had 10 guests at their travel party. And the numbers say that out of 10 warm market recruits, potential recruits, you'll usually get 3. And so let's say that you took 3 and you exposed the business to 10 of their friends and family, mother, brother, sister, cousin, aunt, uncle. Each one of them would get 3. And if you repeated this process for that 9 and you did 9 travel parties, and 9 travel parties is not that many. I mean, that's 2 to 3 a week for the month. And you've got 9 travel parties. And then you repeated that process after each one of them had 10 guests and 3 joined. And now you got 27 travel parties. You go, Chris, well, 27 is a lot. Really? That's like a travel party a day, for 5 to 6 days a week, or 2 on the weekends, on a Saturday. Travel party only takes an hour to an hour and a half max. You could literally do 2 a night. You could do it one at 7 and then another one at 9. And get 10 guests to each one of them. See, if you did this process for 6 months, just 6 months, all face-to-face, all travel parties, all kneecap to kneecap, belly button to belly button, in 6 months you'd have 1,093 people in your team. In 6 months. Now you go, Chris, that sounds great, but that's perfection. That's assuming every travel party has 10 guests that show up and every one of them has 3 that joins. You're right. So let's cut it in half. Let's say it's only 50% successful. You'd have 547 people in your team. How many people does it take to become a level 1 director? 250. So you will already have been promoted to level 1. How many people does it take to be level 2 director and get a car? 500. So you mean to say if you did it right, 100% face-to-face, kneecap to kneecap, help people develop their list, invite guests, have 10 guests at each travel party, only 3 out of 10 join. And if that only goes half as good, you're a level 2 director with a company car. In 6 months. Now tell me what's faster. Tell me how can you do that faster. Tell me any other way that's been proven to do that faster. See, that's been done before. That's documented. All this other stuff you're trying, guys, isn't documented. So why would you spend a year doing that when 6 months doing this? And if it's only 50% successful, you're a level 2 director with a car in 6 months. See, guys, stop the myth that technology is better and that technology is faster, and accept the reality that doing it the right way is faster. Doing it the way it was created to be done is faster. That's the way you've got to do this. And see, then also you've got the support of people who've done it that way. See, now I can help you. Now I can help you make carburetor adjustments here and there so that you get better and become really surgical with how you recruit. And also, I can get you to understand that technology can be used in certain ways to help. For instance, what's good about the internet and social media is it helps you meet people faster, not recruit people faster, not get people to join the business faster, but meet people faster. See, if you don't have a lot of friends, your warm market has been depleted, then you can go to social media and you can find groups of people who have the same interests you have. If you're a nurse, find a group on nursing and join that group, and you'll meet a lot of nurses. And look for ones that are local, so that you can see what activities they have that you can actually physically go to. And now you just joined a group that created a whole new group of friends for you. If you like to bowl, look on the internet for local bowling groups and organizations in your area. And join them on social media and chat with a few of them and say, hey, what do you guys do? And what night do you usually go out bowling? Or what night do you go out and just socialize or have a couple of drinks? Or what kind of events do you have coming up? And go. Now listen to me. You have to be authentically you. And what that means is don't join a bowling group if you don't bowl. It ain't going to take them long to figure out you don't bowl. And then they're going to think, so you only joined so you can try to recruit us. And now they already don't feel like you're an authentic person with integrity. And that's going to work against you. See, join the groups that truly are reflective of who you are. It's called friendship farming. It's called find people like you, not just pretend to be like people for the sake of recruiting. Because you're going to be exposed every time that way. Because people in different groups speak different languages. Nurses talk to each other differently than us regular people. So if I could join a nursing group and don't know anything about nursing, it won't take them long to figure out I'm clearly not a nurse. You know, if I join the Police Officers Association and go on the night that all police officers go bowling, it ain't going to be long before they realize I'm not a police officer. So be authentic, you know, and join groups that truly have the same interests you have. And now meet people. Don't go in trying to recruit. Go in and make some friends and meet some people and rebuild your warm market list. So that when you offer them the business opportunity, they feel like they know you. They feel, oh, Chris, that's going to take too long. That's the process you've got to do if you want to use social media to meet people. You want to shorten the process? Guess what shortens the process? Face-to-face, kneecap to kneecap, belly button to belly button. See, you can go out and meet people and build a rapport pretty quickly and invite them to take a look at the business pretty quickly. You ever meet somebody and you just liked them the first time you met them? See, that happens. You can go out and connect with people, especially if you've worked on having a type of personality that's attractive. Well, Chris, what does that mean? Hey, people are attracted to positive people. People are attracted to excited people. People are attracted to people who smile. So if you can be those things and go out into the public, you can meet people who just like you right away. See, it's faster than going on social media, having to join a group, going to different events, building relationships. Once again, technology's not faster than me walking out of my house in the morning and being pleasant to someone and saying hello and what a nice day. And are you from this area? Oh, you are? You mind if I ask you a few questions? No, I don't. How do you like the school systems? How do you like, the taxes? How are the prices of the homes? All questions that tell me whether they own a home, have kids in school, because they will only know the answers if it's something they've been involved in. And then at some point being able to say, you really seem like a sharp person. Maybe you can truly help me out. See, my company's looking to hire some people to be interested in making an extra $3,000 to $5,000 a month part-time. Or maybe even a career change if the money's right. You know anybody that might be interested in that? And 9 times out of 10, they're going to go, me. And you go, great, here's how you can reach me. How can I reach you? And you get their name and number or whatever method of reaching them they're willing to give you. And you go, great. In the next 24 to 48 hours, I'll call you with some more information. Is that fair enough? It was really a pleasure meeting you. See, face-to-face, I can knock this out in a day. I can go do 10 of those a day. And then the next morning between 9 and 12, guess what I do? I sit down and I call the 10. And I go, hey, John, this is Chris. Remember me? We met at the Walmart. I told you I'd get back to you in 24 to 48 hours with more information. Is now a good time? Would you happen to be in front of a computer? And they're going to say yes or no. If they say no, I go, that's okay, John. When will you be in front of your computer? Oh, probably about 7 tonight. Great. You know what, John? I'll give you a call back around 7 tonight. Is that good? And I set that person up. And some of them are going to say, yeah, I'm in front of a computer right now. And go, great, I'm going to send you the link to a video. And if you take a look at this video, I'm going to call you right back. And see what you like best about it. And I send that person the link. And I write, I'm calling this person back in 30 minutes. And then guess what I do after 12 o'clock when I'm done calling the 10 from yesterday? I'm going to go out and do 10 more. Now you go, Chris, how long do I have to do that? Only until one joins. Because once one joins, what are you going to do? I'm going to sit down with that person. I'm going to pull out our quick start form. I'm going to find out what their why is. I'm going to find out their goals. I'm going to introduce them to the leadership team that's going to provide them with support. I'm going to help them make a list of their 10 hot market people, mother, brother, sister, cousin. We're going to set up a travel party. We're going to invite 20 or 30 or 40 of those people over to their house so we get at least 10 guests. And out of those 10 guests, 3 are going to join. And out of those 3, we're going to sit down with them with the Quick Start form and do the same thing. And then 3 are going to join. And 6 months later, they'll have 1,093 if it's perfect, but we know it's not perfect. So we're going to cut it in half to 50%, and they'll have 547, which means they will have been promoted to level 1 director and level 2 director and get a car. See, I only got to go talk to strangers and make them friends until I get one. Some of you are creating game plans to be in the coal market forever. When the truth is, you only go into the cold to find one so you can come back into the warm. You know, it's kind of like firewood. You only go outside to get some so you can come back inside and put it in the fireplace to stay warm. You don't just go outside and cut wood all the time. You only cut and store up enough wood so that when you're in the house warm and the wood runs out, you go outside, get some more wood, bring it back in so you're warm again. See, you only talk to the cold market long enough to get one person so that you can get back into the warm again, where it's comfortable. See, warm is comfortable. When someone's taking you to their mother, brother, sister, cousin, and they're introducing you as their mentor and business partner, the family is always receptive because that's how they met you. And they usually sit down. Most families were raised right. They're going to offer you something to drink, maybe some coffee, maybe some Danishes, maybe some chips. And then you're going to do a great presentation, and you're going to get to know each other, and it's a great experience. You'll almost feel guilty that this is what you get paid to do. But if you're out here talking to strangers, yeah, you're going to get a lot of no's and a lot of people that don't trust you, a lot of people that are skeptical because the world is just a skeptical place. And you got to cut through all of that to find one person that want to win so bad that they're willing to take a chance. And they're hoping that you're telling the truth. They're praying that you're telling the truth. And when they find out you are, watch their smoke. But you're only out there in the woods, in the wilderness, in the cold market just to find one. Then you come back in with that one and help them get 3, who get 3, who get 3, who get 3 over the next 6 months. And you're a director. That's how this business is built. And that's why we constantly keep talking to you about build in your local market, where you have the advantage of face-to-face, where you have the advantage of being able to spend time with people, where you have the advantage. You know, one of the things I did all my career was every month I would do a potluck at my house. Every month I would get whoever joined our team that was already on the team and whoever joined new the month before would get invited to my home for a potluck, and everybody would bring a dish and we would just socialize. It wouldn't be a presentation for guests. It would just be the team getting to know the team and building camaraderie and deciding we're going to be the number 1 team and we're going to hit the leaders bulletin and we're going to win the recognition and we're going to get the awards at the convention and we're going to get the plaques and we are the team to beat. We are the best of the best. And I got to meet their spouses, and sometimes they bring their kids and I get to meet their kids, and we became a family over a meal every month. And so if you were new to the team, this was your opportunity to meet the rest of the team and identify with people. And then we started getting creative with it, and we started giving them themes, you know, and at one point we made it a cultural thing where we looked at all the different cultures in our team and we said, well, let's do a theme on the culture and we'll all try to make a dish from your culture. And of course your dish is probably going to be the best because it's what you grew up making or eating, but I'm going to research a recipe and I'm going to make something, and other people are going to research recipes, and and it's going to be a Mexican food night or a Jamaican food night or a Middle Eastern food night or whatever our team looked like. That's what we did. And then we took it a step further and we started making making it an experience where it was more than just food. It was a barbecue, or it was, there was a time when my team was predominantly in New Jersey, and I took everybody horseback riding. Because, see, I grew up in the first part of my life in Newark, New Jersey, second part in Asbury Park. And there weren't farms with horses that most people knew about. Now, they existed, but we just didn't grow. When you grow up in the neighborhoods we grew up in, riding a horse is not something that comes up very often. And so I took our team horseback riding. And guess what? Most of them had never done it. And it turned out to be the most hilarious experience in the world, but it brought us closer together. Half of the people were scared to even go anywhere near the horse. The other half of us that were willing to get on had no idea how to ride. Rather than holding the reins, some people were just holding the horse around the neck, screaming, and just all you saw was people going by, holding on for dear life. But we created experiences that brought us closer together. And we built a team. And we became a team to be reckoned with. And we were proud to be on our team. And then we got team T-shirts made, so we all wore the same uniform at the conventions and at the meetings, and you knew whose team you were on when you saw us coming. And we created a team chant. And we built a team, and that's what you're trying to do. A team, an environment that nurtures and supports your success. Success is not easy. Becoming wealthy is not easy. Becoming a millionaire is not easy. Becoming a great leader is not easy. You need support. You need a support system. You need people around you that are encouraging you and cheering you on and applauding you. You don't need people telling you it ain't going to work. It's one of those things. It'll never happen. You're drinking the Kool-Aid. You don't need that crap. You need a strong team around you. And part of being successful is building that team that nurtures and produces leaders that become financially independent. That's tough to do. Okay, I'm being generous. It's impossible to freaking do online. You can't do that online. You can't do that in a social media group. See, there's only one way to do that. Face to face, kneecap to kneecap, belly button to belly button. That is the only system that's ever been proven. Now, when they come up with a system that's been proven to work that's better than that, we'll do it. See, and I'm not saying this because we just refuse to grow with the times. We've spent as a company more than $1 million on people who've come to us and said they have systems and techniques and scripts that will allow you to build this online. And we spent millions, and listen to me now, I'm not exaggerating, to these people for them to develop these funnels for us. And none of them ever developed it. None of them ever completed anything that worked in our line of business. They were never able to figure out how to take this strong relationship mentoring business opportunity with the best products and comp plans in the industry and turn it into an online automated business that doesn't require the personal touch. They were unable to do it. And here's how you know they were unable to do it. Because if they had figured out a way to do it, we would have, with that $1 million we spent, created a computer-generated system that recruits people, and we wouldn't need you guys. We wouldn't need to have a director program where we gave people cars and Rolexes and yachts and motorhomes, because we just let the computer do it, and it would recruit us 1 million people, and we keep all the money, and we wouldn't have to pay any directors to be leaders because the system would do it. And really, network marketing and MLM would be a thing of the past, because every company would rather spend $1 million on a system that does all the recruiting than to have to give $1 million bonuses to multiple directors that do all the recruiting. To have to give $1 million a year bonus guaranteed for a minimum of 10 years to your family if something happens to you, when we could just spend $1 million and build our whole company that way. See, guys, there is no way, or we'd have found it already. So I need you to make a decision. I need you to make a commitment that you're going to go back to the way this is supposed to be built, the way we know how to build it, and allow us to help you build it that way. Go into your local market. You want to recruit some people? Don't go online and spend all your time putting up posts about, do you want to be a travel agent? Do you want to work from home? Do you want that? None of that crap works. Because the truth of the matter is you have to work our entire business in order to make money and be successful. Being a travel agent from home, do you understand that takes months just to get going before you even make money? And most people's attention span isn't long enough to take that long before they make money. So you're really baiting and switching people, offering all these great ways to make money from home and be a travel agent, when in reality, guys, that's not what you're teaching them to do. And they aren't going to make a lot of money fast doing that. Use social media to meet people till you find one that you can get into their warm market. The rest of the time, guys, go out and meet people. You know, some of you probably deal with the same problem I dealt with when I was in the field building, and that was that I just didn't go enough places to meet a lot of people. Especially if you're full-time, you tend to be home more, which is why you guys gravitate to the internet, because it's easy. It's right there. You're home. Let me figure out a way to make this work for me. But you know what I did in order to really meet people and build our business? I made myself get out of the house. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to go in the morning and have breakfast. But I couldn't afford to buy breakfast every morning. But I said, I'm going to go to breakfast every morning. And I'm actually going to go to 3 different places. And I mapped out 3 places closest to me. And the first place I went to every morning at 6. And at 6, I'd have a cup of coffee at that place. Just a cup of coffee. I'd sit at the little counter, the little bar area in the breakfast area, and I'd sit there and have a cup of coffee. And guess what I found? A whole group of people, that 6 o'clock in the morning crowd, came through. And it turned out that every day it would be just about the same group of people. And they all pretty much knew each other because they were regulars. And since I started coming every day, guess what I eventually became? A regular. And I was no longer a stranger. I was Chris. He comes here every morning at 6 for a cup of coffee. See, when I left there, 30 minutes later, I go to the other place. And there, I'd have a glass of orange juice and maybe some toast or an English muffin. It's about $2. And I became a regular at that place with the 7 o'clock crowd. And then I go to the next place at 7:38. See, I didn't, by the time I hit all 3 places, it may have totaled a breakfast. But I became a regular at 3 different places. And now I had a new group of people that I could recruit from. And I wouldn't try to recruit everybody. But when I built a rapport with one person, I'd invite that person. And so every week I might invite one person from each one of the places. So that's 3 new invites from breakfast. And then guess what I realized? Same thing happens at lunch. People are creatures of habit. So I found that people go to lunch at the same places. So I found a little area where I would go. And I would go have lunch. But I wouldn't eat lunch. I would just go to these different places and have a soft drink at one and some fries at another. But I became a regular in the lunch crowd. And that was another, 2 or 3 restaurants I would frequent. And I might invite one person from each one of those 3 a week. So now I'm doing 3 in the morning and 3 at lunchtime. I'm doing 6 a week, and from those locations of friendship farming, people that I'm meeting, not strangers. And then I said, you know what? There's a happy hour thing that's revolutionizing the country. People after work don't go straight home. They go to happy hour and unwind and have a couple of drinks. And guess what I found out about these happy hour places? A lot of them have free food, not dinners, but like wings and nachos and snacks. And I'm like, man, all I got to do is buy one drink and I got stuff to eat for free, and I meet a whole new crowd of people. And they usually last somewhere between 4 and 7, because that's about the time everybody gets off work. And so I could go to one at 4 and another one at 5:30 and catch another one at 6:30. have a variety of little snacks to gnaw on, and a ton more people that I'm exposed to. See, I started doing things like paying my bills in person. I'd go pay my cell phone in person. Still to this day, the other day I had to go into the T-Mobile store for something. It was still packed. Still to this day. Probably 20 years since I've been recruiting in the field like that. T-Mobile's still packed full of people. And the friendlier I was, the friendlier they were. And the more I chatted, the more they chatted. And I built relationships with people at the T-Mobile store where I stopped to pay my bill. So you find two different groups of people there. You find people who are there to get the latest technology and upgrade their phones, and you find people who are there because they're right down to the wire and they got to make a payment on their bill so that it doesn't get cut off. And that's the two group of people I need. I need the people who need and want extra money, and I need the people who are excited about technology and new things so that they can be more successful at the businesses or whatever that they're doing. That is a fertile market for me to recruit people. Hey, I would go pay my electric bill in person. Most people who pay an electric bill in person is because it's the deadline before it gets cut off. And see, people who have to go pay in person so their bill doesn't get cut off are usually people that are sick and tired of being sick and tired. They're usually people that are fed up with living paycheck to paycheck. And I got a whole line full of them. Now, I'm not there because mine's getting cut off, but I'm there to pay it in person to meet other people who are frustrated and sick and tired of having to be in that line, and I got to wait for them to get out of that line forever. See, these are all techniques I started using to get out and just meet people. And remember, I'm only looking for one coal to get me back into the warm. And if you do the warm right, you never have to go back in the cold again. But if for some reason you do, you go back in and find one more to get you back into the warm. You master your cold techniques so that if you ever have to go get one to get back into the warm, you know how to do it. That's how you build this business efficiently. Now, some people say, oh, Chris, that's the old-fashioned way. It's the only fashioned way. There has not been a new way yet to build relationships, to build leaders, to develop people, to mentor. Every other way works for the mentor, not the mentee. I mean, it's just that simple. People have come to me for years and go, you're such a great speaker, such a great trainer. You should sell DVDs online. You should do infomercials and get people to buy your books and your DVDs. You'd make millions. Yeah, I'd make millions, but they wouldn't. Because they wouldn't be able to take my techniques out of books and out of videos and know how to apply them in real life and become financially independent. They wouldn't know which vehicle to apply them to for them to work. See, I'd just be spitting out generic crap like a whole lot of people are right now that you're paying a ton of money for that don't teach you anything about being successful. It teaches you the general philosophy. It's like me saying, I'm going to teach you the general philosophy on a videotape and a book of how to swim. And then I'm going to take you out on a boat and toss you in the ocean. I'm willing to bet 99.9% of the time, you're going to drown. I don't care how long you read the book and how many of my videos you watch on swimming, you're going to drown. Because there's nothing in a book or video that can prepare you for the current and swallowing some of the water and the fatigue and getting tired. And see, only time in the water, swimming, laps after lap after lap, will ever prepare you to be able to swim. It's just that simple. And there's been no new technique on teaching people how to swim than putting your butt in the water. None. See, there's some things that are never going to be replaced by technology. We're one of them. building a relationship business and mentoring people and teaching them how to win and building a relationship with them and being there when they're down and when they need you and allowing them to borrow your confidence and allowing them to borrow your enthusiasm when they need it. And holding their hand and running with them through the tough times will never be replaced by technology. And those are the things needed to win. Those are the things that helped me win. Those are the things my mentors provided for me. Those are the things that have still been provided for me, even in the most recent years that I've spent being mentored by Coach and Scott. And they couldn't do it over the phone. The time that I've spent with them is invaluable, and what it has taught me about being a leader and being a man. And there's still no way to do that with technology. And you aren't going to discover it. So in reality, guys, it's time to accept that the right way is the original way. And you got a team of people who knows that way, who've done it that way, that can show you that way. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel and get with the system and run as hard as you possibly can. There's not a person who can hear my voice right now that couldn't be a director in 6 months working the very system that I just talked about. All you got to do is stay positive and excited. Remember, you're only one recruit away from an explosion. You only need one. If you got no market right now, you only need to go out there and find one person that want to win so bad they can't stand it. Just one dynamite waiting to explode. Just one person so full of a potential. Somebody that just that's average and ordinary but has above average and ordinary desire. One person that's got the heart of a champion. And see, you can't see any of these things I'm talking about. You can't detect them. There's never been a test devised to. You just got to recruit until they appear. But when you find that one, changes your business. And all you got to do is lead by example. Create a standard of excellence. Don't let there be a contest that we run that you don't win. So that you can show people it can be done. Don't let a pay period go by that this computer don't cut you a check. See, this computer cuts checks every week. When it comes to your name, if you've done anything, cuts your check. If you've done nothing, makes a clicking noise down to the next name. Don't ever let yourself in this company be a click. Always be a check. See, if you make those type of commitments and you build your business from event to event, rally your people to everything. Don't try to pick and choose what you should go to. If the company's promoting it, you should be there. Because you never know where you're going to be when the light goes off, where you hear that one thing you need to hear, where it just snaps in place and you get it. I get it now. All of a sudden, clarity just sets in. If you do those things and commit to lead by example, so many people say to me, I must have had 20 different people say, I'm trying to motivate my team. I'm trying to get my team going. What do I do to get my team going? You go. Lead by example. Speed of the leader, speed of the crew. They might not take off as soon as you take off, but after they see you running and realize you ain't coming back to sit with them and do nothing, they start running. Nobody wants to be left. But when you first take off running, they don't believe you're actually going to run. They don't believe you're actually going to leave. You ever see little kids in the store with their parents and they throw a tantrum and fall on the floor, and then the parents pretend like they're going to leave them? Initially, the kid doesn't move because the kid thinks you're not going to leave me. It's only the parents that have the ability to follow through and really walk a good distance away that the kid all of a sudden jumps up and start running. See, so all of a sudden they go, they may really leave me. See, that's the same thing that's happening with most of your teams. You're not doing nothing, they're not doing nothing. Then you start moving a little bit, they still don't move. And that they're waiting to see if you were serious. And then you stop because they didn't move and they won. You weren't serious. You really weren't going to leave them. You're just like them. But if you keep running and just keep showing them another bonus check, another bonus check, another bonus check. They start going, hold up. They seriously were going to leave. See, I always said to people, I'm going to win with or without you. The decision is, are you going to win? See, I've already made my decision. I'm going to get a ton of recruits. I don't know their names. I don't know who they are. I don't know where they come from. I'm not requiring that they be my relatives or even my friends. They might be total strangers. I might end up wealthy one day surrounded by a bunch of strangers I never even knew before. But if that's what it takes, then that's what I'm going to do. So the only question for you is, are you going to be there? And that's up to you. I really don't care. See, people never thought I needed them to win. They always knew Chris is going to win. I ran into a friend of mine 30 years ago. A friend of mine from 30 years ago. And when I ran into him, the friend said, it's funny because my mom just asked me about you and said, whatever happened to Chris and those guys from the business way back in the day that used to come by the house and eat and everything? And my friend said, I don't know, but I bet wherever Chris is, he's successful. And I felt proud that they thought that of me, because that's the message I was trying to send even back then. See, guys, I'm going to win. I've decided I'm going to win. And this has got to be your posture. See, you got to make a decision you're going to win. And you love to win with everybody in your life right now. But whether they decide to or not, which is their own decision, you're going to win anyway. And when your friends, your family, your team come to that realization, they'll make up their own mind and they'll go to work. Hey, thanks for joining me for Winners Win Live. I'll see you guys at the next Winners Win Live. But hopefully I'll also see some of you in Chapel Hill at the boot camp. And I'll see all of you in Baltimore for the 5-year celebration and launch of the new Surge Next Generation. See you guys next time.